Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be predicting the Producers Guild Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the Writers Guild Awards, the Directors Guild Awards, all those guilds for the nominations. Winners will come at a later time, but wait, there's some person hacking into my computer. What the? Ryan Castleman, what are you doing here? What? Ah!
I want to see if I can get those balloons going.
Oh my god.
There it is.
He's hacked to the mainframe! Die! It's Ryan Castleman from the Ryan Castleman YouTube channel. I'm great with words. So, yeah, how are you feeling about this Oscar season? Like, are you confident about anything? Are you hopeful about anything? Or how chaotic do you just think this whole thing is?
Well, yeah, I looked on Twitter at your calendar, and I saw how intense the season was, and I didn't realize just how intense it was. We got, like, Oscar nominations, and then a few days before, you got the PGA, DGA. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But I'm very excited about the season, but I'm more excited to be on the Hannahcast, because I've been watching this show for a while. So, yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, my God, thank you. That's awesome. This whole, this season has just been so weird, because it's like, we're getting some very unconventional picks. I mean, some picks I'm really excited for, like The Substance. I'm really glad that's becoming a thing. Because I legitimately just did not think the Oscars... No, granted, technically we don't know if the Oscars are going to be that cool, but, you know, right. But considering how well it's doing so far, and we'll get to that here in a bit, but I feel very, very confident in that. There are some films I'm really rooting for, some awards enemies I have. I'm not going to let those sway my predictions, but... Yeah, do you have what are your general thoughts on what could on the potential contenders?
Well, I know you have the enemy of Honora. I have a similar enemy. I don't hate Amelia Perez, but I do think it's probably one of the more overrated movies this year, in my opinion. But other than that, I feel good about the season. I don't know if the year for film was particularly the strongest. I think last year was a bit stronger with the front contenders. I think there's a lot of good movies this year, but like the top tier Oppenheimer level quality of movies, I don't know if we got a whole big slate of them. So yeah, but ultimately I feel pretty good about a lot of the movies. I did like a lot of movies. I guess I didn't just love a ton this year as I did last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen some of these films. I haven't seen The Brutalist. I haven't seen Nickel Boys. I haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet. But I've weirdly enough seen a lot of the big contenders so far. So yeah, as what you saw last year with Brother Bro, blue will be my predictions. Ryan will be reds. Reds will. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. I guess we'll start with with Best Director at DGA, and so
DGA.
Yeah, right now we're both on the same page with Brady Corbet winning. How do we feel about him potentially, in terms of potentially him being a front runner? And also, if you have any of your little stats on you, hey, that's all good and welcome here.
Okay, perfect. I don't have a stat for this one. It's more of just an instinctual thing. I think originally when I saw Honora, I thought maybe Honora could be kind of like the Everywhere, or Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of movie this year. But it feels a little bit better with The Brutalist. It just feels more like the technical achievement. So maybe you'll have another movie win like Honora. But then director, it just feels like Brady Corbet. I feel pretty good about it being Brady the entire season because it's being talked about as kind of a monumental technical achievement of the year, and that typically goes to a director like Corbet. So yeah, I feel good about it.
Yeah, again, I haven't seen The Brutalist, but especially after seeing Honora, it's like people were saying, oh, Sean Baker could win director. I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't really feel like a directing winner, because usually directing winners are kind of not too large in scale these days. The Oscars don't really like that anymore. But you have your Oppenheimers. You have even Everything Everywhere All at Once was still a large-ish kind of film. What was it? Power of the Dog had a kind of scale to it, and even something like Parasite, which people were like, really, Parasite's But Parasite did have some really large sets and a very intuitive cast with all that. Honora just feels way too indie for a film to win Best Director. So I
agree.
Yeah, I never really bought that. Whereas The Brutalist, I mean, again, going by the trailers, I think you saw The Brutalist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an incredibly looking. It's a technical marvel for sure.
Yeah, like the large scale of it makes me think that could happen. And so our list overall actually looks very different. Oh, the only other one we have Sean Baker and we have Jacques Audiard. I'm actually thinking Jacques Audiard. I'm really looking out for the Globes because if they give this guy the win, Jesus Christ, that puts puts everything in a whole new perspective on who could maybe be the front runner. And it does kind of also feel like that large scale, auteur filmmaker vision.
Yeah.
And obviously there would be probably some backlash because people are describing Amelia Perez as like the Green Book of the year. And then there's some other options. Obviously, we know that Sean Baker's getting nominated, but this is where our lists kind of differ. You have Edward Berger and Denis Villeneuve, and I have Ramel Ross and Greg Cuidar. Before I give my points, let's hear your points on Berger and Villeneuve.
Okay. Well, I kind of feel like the DGA, usually when they snub people, it's how do I say it? I feel like DGA is kind of more populist, I would say, in my opinion. Usually they tend to go for the films I would say are in the top 5 films kind of in contention for picture. Now, I don't think Dune 2 is a top 5 contender, so I have been playing kind of with Wicked with putting that into the 5th spot. But I don't know, it feels like when DGA tends to snub people, it kind of seems to be something I tend to agree with. Like, I remember DGA went for Tar and Top Gun over Baz Luhrmann and James Cameron for Avatar 2. So, it's not, I don't feel like it's always the big action movies that get in. And I do feel like DGA does have a little bit of preference with big movies, but ultimately there needs to be some element of taste. I mean, Tar is not exactly a big Hollywood movie, but it was a really acclaimed movie of the year. So they went with that over something like, James Cameron Avatar, for example. So I don't know. I just kind of felt like Dune 2 fit into that camp of a movie and also DGA likes big names. I feel like they really like their stock names. So that's why I have Villeneuve in there, because he is kind of an acclaimed director. He's a well-known director. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. And then Conclave, I just feel like Conclave is a top 5 film this year. That's why I have Conclave in there. I feel like it's a film that's going to do very well this season. It's a technical movie, and I think the industry is going to respond to Conclave. It's already kind of have been responding to a certain degree, but yeah, that's why I have Conclave in there.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you have Sing Sing in there. I'm pretty interested in hearing about that, because like I was kind of saying, like both Sing Sing and Nickel Boys, I feel like these movies are so small. I'm wondering whether it's going to have a hard time getting in there at DGA.
Yeah, I don't think I don't because I do want to. Okay, with Nickel Boys, I haven't seen this film, but one thing I do think is that it did get in at the Globes, it did get in at Critics' Choice, and so it's still in that bubble. And not only that, it is one of the more, at least from what I'm seeing, it looks like to be more one of the imaginative kind of styles of filmmaking of the year. Like, no one's really doing anything like this. And I feel like that unique vision might help it. And I'm also expecting it to do pretty, I'm a little bit of a spoiler. I'm predicting it to win Writers Guild. So, I'm kind of thinking, I think maybe people might underestimate Nickel Boys. And then Sing Sing, I'm kind of expecting, this kind of goes back to when the shortlist happened. Because, when the Golden Globes happened, it's like, Sing Sing literally couldn't have performed any worse other than Coleman Domingo getting snubbed. But then something happened with the shortlist at the Oscars. Sing Sing was one of only 5 films in the Best Picture conversation to actually get a score mention in the shortlist over Nickel Boys and Substance, which we all kind of thought were probably above Sing Sing. And I was like, that's weird. And then Song happened, and with the song shortlist, and Sing Sing beat out the Miley Cyrus Pamela Anderson song that got into both Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. So something in my head is making me think that they're right now starting to catch on to this film, and that with Best Director at DGA, this could be like a Joseph Kosinski and Top Gun Maverick thing, where it's like, oh, they're taking this movie really seriously now. And again, I'm not saying it's a safe bet. It's not a safe bet at all. But something about those Oscar shortlists, and I know it doesn't mean, I know people will say that it doesn't mean everything, but it is weird that Sing Sing performed a little bit better than those films when in such categories as this, especially considering, how the music branch likes to prioritize Best Picture nominees in score these days.
Yeah. I think at the beginning of the year, we all kind of felt like Sing Sing might be this year's kind of coda. And it never really felt, from the very beginning, it always felt like director was going to be a difficult one to get in. He's not a known name. People aren't familiar with who he is. And it just hasn't been being picked up this year. It feels like as like a real, Sing Sing has kind of been clinging on. I think it'd be lucky to get into Best Picture at this point, in my opinion. I mean, I have it currently in Best Picture, but I feel like it's clinging on for dear life to get in even picture. So for it to kind of get a top 5, unless it's overperforming, like you said, it's already showing a little bit of life in those shortlists. So maybe you're right. I'm not gonna be too sure. The only thing that really kind of throws me off, it didn't get Critics' Choice, didn't get Golden Globe for director. And it usually, when you have those two things, that usually is 4 for 5. Like going into DGA, usually 4 out of 5 times those are repeats. So, I mean, again, I got Doom 2 in there, and that didn't get a Golden Globe, right?
It didn't. I guess the other thing for me with the Golden Globes is that they also nominated Pio Kapadia, which again they could have gone with someone else, and it's like, they didn't go with that person, and they didn't even, and so it's like, and I don't think Pio Kapadia would make it to DGA, so it's like, it's kind of like who's getting in and who's missing that's making me think, and if I want to help support the idea of, Sing Sing winning Best Picture, because I do feel like it will do well in the preferential ballot, but we'll get to that in PGA, this does help the case a little bit, and it is a little bit more showy in terms of direction than something like a Coda.
It is.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And Nickel Boys is, you have Nickel Boys in. It feels to me too small for DGA to get in, but it is the most, I think, critically, I mean, in terms of director prizes, I think he's won just as much, if not more, than Sean Baker in terms of critical prizes. So, yeah, it just feels like I haven't really, when I just scroll through the previous years, small movies like Sing Sing and Nickel Boys, I don't see them that often. But then again, it's going to be all in retrospect, because if Sing Sing or Nickel Boys ends up being kind of like the Moonlight of this year, I will look back and see it as a big movie, not a small movie. But for right now, it just feels so small. It feels like a real uphill battle for me to get into that populist kind of DGA, very kind of American-centric. I know there's probably a lot of international voters in the DGA, but it's predominantly American. So, I don't know. It's going to be tough, I think.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is a long shot, but I'm just again. It's just a short list that make me go weird. John M. Chu, I would put in here if it wasn't for the fact he missed the Globe, because because with John M. Chu, it's like because I thought maybe it was gonna be like this year's Barbie, but the funny thing about Wicked is that I've noticed that it's actually started doing worse than Barbie when it started off last season. Because you had director, screenplay is a bit weird because it's also a musical, but it's like Barbie was also getting multiple acting nominations, sometimes 3, whereas here you're kind of capping off at 2, and even then I feel like Cynthia Erivo could still be vulnerable, and it's just there's just kind of this, I don't know. It's just, it's also been a lot more criticized, or maybe not a lot more, but a little bit more criticized than something like Barbie. Because Barbie was kind of this force to be reckoned with, and I don't know. What's your thought on Wicked potentially getting in?
Well, originally, I thought that Amelia Perez was, I kind of compared that to being the Barbie this year, in the sense that I felt like it was a movie that was going to rack up so many nominations, but wasn't going to really lead to many wins, maybe 1 or 2 wins. So I was kind of trying to compare it to Barbie, but then Wicked came along, and that really did kind of take the Barbie placeholder for me. I'm like, okay, no, Emilia Perez is not Barbie. I think Wicked's Barbie. And it just feels like it in terms of like a movie that's going to rack up quite a bit of nominations. But I agree with you. I don't know if it's going to really lead to many wins. It does feel a bit like the Barbie and Top Gun, that it could kind of maybe crack into this lineup, but miss at the Oscars. I have no faith that this is going to get into the Oscars, Wicked, for directing.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But in DGA, hey, I think DGA
Maybe.
is possible. I mean, they did Top Gun, they did Barbie. And so that's what I'm kind of seeing right now. Big populist blockbusters that everyone really enjoyed. One of the biggest hits of the year. So yeah, I do feel like Wicked for me is right outside my number. It's right at 6 right now. And The Substance is something I still am wondering. It's the big question mark of the season is the Academy, is The Substance going to end up making it at the end? Like, is this just a new thing that Globes went crazy for, Critics' Choice were always going to go for, but then it's just not going to really connect with the industry? I don't know. That's to be seen. But it could be like the Get Out of this year, could just be like that Jordan Peele type of pick. So that's why I got my eye out for Substance.
Yeah, I think even if Substance misses DGA, I think it will be fine, because it's not just the fact that Substance got into the Globes for like comedy musical actress, comedy musical picture. It's how well it did, like director, screenplay, and support. Like I feel like it's just gonna be it's gonna be just fine in Best Picture at the Oscars, because because even if it didn't get into like the score or the sound shortlist, it's just like the way it overperformed at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. It's like, all right, even if it tapers off somewhat, it's so very much in. And normally I would think Coralie Farge would get into director at DGA, but the problem is I don't want to go 5 out of 5, because that just doesn't happen. DGA top 5 getting it. So like, I have it just outside of that, even though it does make sense. Honestly, I would even think if she misses the BAFTA, I would still put her in for the Oscar, because it's just that powerful. And honestly, looking at some of the other contenders, it's like, I mean, maybe Edward Berger, but I don't know. Something about it just seems too much of a... I'm not saying this from a personal standpoint. I'm saying from a, how other people will react to it. He would feel too much like a vanilla pick compared to someone like Coralie Farge, who's doing something so insane and out there with The Substance. But, yeah, and I do find it interesting that in your list and in my list, at least in different positions, we're keeping an eye out for James Mangold for A Complete Unknown.
Yes. I think that would be one that if it snuck in here, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I can't put it past the other movies ahead of it. But yeah, that could be the real spoiler for sure. I think that could, it's doing really well at the box office. I think people are really loving the movie. It's kind of sneaking up to being a little bit of like the Bohemian Rhapsody of this year, it feels like. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for that, and as being a spoiler, and not just DGA, but spoiler alert. Many of these guilds, I think this could sneak in.
Yeah, that like he would honestly definitely fit the bill for someone like a Joseph Kaczynski. Like, doesn't show up anywhere else, and then out of nowhere DGA. Because like everything is kind of going in the movie's favor. It's liked just enough. Again, like you said, it's doing all the box office, and obviously Timothée Chalamet is everywhere this year, like with the lookalike contests and stuff. So it's like everyone's just kind of aware of this, and so yeah. I think that's And then we have...
And also, like, from my understanding, the DGA is like, not just film directors, but it's a lot of TV directors from my understanding. And that's why I think a lot of their picks... That would make sense to me, that a lot of TV directors... I think that's why, like, Green Book got in this category and didn't get into the Oscars. It's because they have a lot of TV directors who are also voting on this. And I think James Mangold would be one of those people who this type of membership would say, why not? Let's put him in there for a movie we love.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I think at that point, especially at that point, I'm already expecting it to get in, but if it got in at DGA, I'd be like, okay, it's unquestionably in Best Picture now. Like, there's no way Yeah. Then we get to Writers Guild Original Screenplay. All right. This is...
Writers Guild.
Yeah. This is interesting because, like, I think really only one film can win Writers Guild. Like, even if somehow Substance, like, let's say, like, pulls a spoiler at Critics' Choice or BAFTA, like... Anora would easily be winning Writers Guild.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like Anora is gonna walk the season with screenplay.
Yeah. I am predicting it to win the Oscar. But like, if I were to say, like, if there were any spoilers for original screenplay, it'd maybe be The Substance because of how imaginative and crazy it is. But obviously, it's not eligible here, and our options are very much limited, more than usual. And actually, we have the same 4, but in a little bit different positions. A Real Pain, Challengers. Saturday Night, admittedly, I'm very scared about because like there's a good chance this could miss. Because, like, it didn't get in at the Eddies for comedy, which is weird, and didn't even get shortlisted for score. Like, my God, they hate this movie. So
I know. It's been sinking all season. It's kind of a mystery for me. I don't really know what they did wrong. Other than the fact that maybe it's a little too niche. I don't know. I mean, I thought they would really respond to this movie when I saw it.
Yeah, when I eventually saw this movie, because I'm sadly not one of the cool kids who gets to see stuff at film festivals yet, but like when I finally saw Saturday Night, I was like, no, how is no one responding to this? Like, this is so strange to me, because like it has a great cast, it has very funny dialogue, but it's just like. And that's why I think it's definitely vulnerable here, because it's like they just might not care.
My 5th slot with Baby Girl, I really just kind of stuck something in there. I'm really not the best at WGA because there's always so many ineligibilities. It's hard to really kind of track that throughout the years. But I don't really feel about Baby Girl. My number 5 could be really honestly anything. I toyed with The Apprentice. I toyed with Heretic. What's your feeling about Civil War? I'm kind of curious to hear it because maybe I'll just throw that in my 5th spot if you have any faith in it.
The thing with Civil War is that I've been noticing some strange things happening. Well, for one, it got in at the Eddies for drama, which over movies like what was it, The Brutalist, over I'm trying to think of what else are dramas this year. Got in over Sing Sing, but again, I don't.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think of what other dramas came out, but I'm not sure. But the fact that Civil War showed up at Eddie, I'm like, whoa. And then in the visual effects shortlist, I'm like, okay, I also didn't see that coming. And this was a big box office hit, and people do generally like this movie. And so I'm like, you know what? That might be it. Cause like people might view it as like, even though it doesn't really delve too much into the political side of things, which I feel like is one of my criticisms of it. People might see it as like, I don't know, they might see it as relevant, even though I don't know exactly know why. At least because this movie doesn't give any context, but I don't know. And also, what's his name? Alex Garland has been nominated before with Ex Machina because he can take these like abstract concepts and just go like, oh, here. And with here, I'm just like, maybe. It kind of like makes me think. It does make me think. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. A Civil War. I mean, I'm not really too familiar with WGA's taste.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know if Baby Girl would get in. I didn't really feel confident about Baby Girl. I don't know. I was thinking The Apprentice because I think the writing's pretty good in The Apprentice, but and there's a lot of research that got put into it. It does feel a little bit more like The Apprentice might kind of be divisive in certain senses, or might turn some voters off, or some people who are not gonna just want to watch Trump in any capacity, whether it's critical or whether it's anything. So I don't know. I could see Civil War just popping in as kind of being a little bit like the Naiad. I can see it. I don't know why.
Don't manifest. We can't have another Naiad manifest. Like this sucker literally fucking like manifested Naiad the entire season. I was like, no. And then it shows up at Writers Guild. It wins the visual effects thing at Visual Effects Society. Which I won't complain about that too much. But it's like had I known Naiad was going to get an adapted screenplay, I probably would have put in Annette Bening because they would have shown the movie actually had people who like it. Surprisingly, so I was like, so don't manifest other things. We can't have this happen again. But The Apprentice, though, if it showed up here, I kind of would maybe think Sebastian Stan could get in for lead actor because it did very well at the Golden Globes, and it got in the makeup shortlist, which I wasn't expecting. And it is eligible for Writers Guild, and it is very well written, and people might see it as relevant. So
Daniel Craig is vulnerable. It feels like in that 5th spot. So I mean, I could see that. I do think Heretic has an option here. Do you have Heretic on your list or no?
I think I have. Oh, I have it at number 10. Mainly, like, again, I don't exactly. It's mainly because I don't know exactly what's going on as well. Like, because I also have Juror number 2. But what's your reasoning for Heretic?
It just feels like a very like whip smart script for the most part. I don't know if the story is completely satisfying, but I think a lot of the dialogue people might respond to. It's a very writery horror film. I don't know. I feel like there's a very dialogue-driven movie. There's some pretty great bits of dialogue in there too, especially about the Monopoly board game. For those who have seen it, I think was a standout writing moment of that movie. And yeah, I don't know. It all takes place in one room, for the most part. It kind of all takes place in one house, I'll say. So yeah, I mean, I could see this popping in there because it feels very dialogue driven.
Yeah. I still have yet to see. I was gonna try to see it today, but then the Razzie shortlists came out, and I was like, I gotta do a video on that, and that kind of took me out. So I'll try to.
This is why Hannahcast is the greatest. Like, who on YouTube is doing Razzie shortlist reactions? This is the channel that does it all. I can't believe I couldn't keep up with the amount of awards that you're tracking. It's insane.
Oh, thank you. That means that means a lot coming from you. Like, oh my God, let's go. But yeah, yeah. Another one I'm kind of looking out for is maybe Juror number 2, because I don't like.
Yeah.
This is Clint Eastwood's most liked film since probably what was it called? Letters from Iwo Jima. Because like it's not controversial at all. It's like a very agreeable film. The one problem is that Warner Brothers fucked this movie, and it's like they did it so bad, which is so. Because if they actually cared, this actually would have gotten like very solidly into the Oscar lineup. And it's just the visibility. Now, unless this movie wants to have, like, some sort of, like, a Judas and the Black Messiah renaissance, then maybe. But even then, Judas still got some Globes nominations, so I would. If somehow, like, Saturday Night and Juror number 2 got in, I mean, happy birthday to me. My God. Or The Apprentice. But yeah, I'm assuming you have the similar thoughts on Juror?
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent movie. I feel bad for it that it got shafted. I'm on a fantasy Oscar league, and one of my picks was Juror number 2, even before it was being released this year. Like, I just thought, well, I'll put it on my list because Clint Eastwood is always someone that they'll just surprise, throw it out in December. But I was really upset because I got the release date, but you know, they totally messed this movie up, so
yeah,
it didn't really.
I tried predicting this movie early on in the year as well. Don't feel too bad, like, because I was like, this seems a little bit more agreeable than something like, you know, Richard Jewell or American Sniper. But yeah. Then we have adapted screenplay, and we have the same 5, just in a slightly different order. You have Dune winning, and I have Nickel Boys winning. Tell us about Dune.
I don't know. I think maybe I didn't update it in the app. I think Nickel Boy. You have Nickel Boys winning or Dune?
Yeah, I have Nickel Boys winning.
Yeah, I would probably say Nickel Boys has the edge too, just with how Dune's been performing. So I apologize. Yeah, I would. I mean, I think I was actually putting it in order. Maybe I was putting in order of most likely to be nominated. I would think Dune for sure feels really sure to be nominated for me, but Nickel Boys is kind of like a question mark, like, because it's such a small movie. But if it gets in, I do think you're probably right. It does have the edge to win. It's tied, I think, with right now with Conclave with most critic prizes for screenplay. From what I think, I'm not sure.
You might be right. And the thing is, like what I said earlier, the writers like more imaginative scripts. And again, from what I've been hearing, I mean, again, no other there's not really any film like Nickel Boys, just putting you in that spot from the direct perspective of the characters. It's very new, unique. My thing was like, if Nickel Boys is not in Best Picture, then Dune would win Writers Guild. But now that we know that Nickel Boys is for sure getting getting Best Picture, I do think it would win here. Dune, solidly in. Not really much to say about that. We both have a complete unknown. This does feel right. It's in Best Picture, and it's eligible for Writers Guild. So yeah, but the interesting thing is you have Wicked above a complete unknown. Do you think Wicked would be more likely at the Oscars as well?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Wicked above complete unknown at the Oscars. That's a really good question. Hold on. Would Wicked? No, I don't think so. I think a complete unknown would do better at the Oscars.
Yeah, because
something about the something about the musical element, because it's so musical based.
Yeah,
but there is a lot of singing in the Bob Dylan one too.
But I would say that
a complete unknown.
Yeah. Because here's my thing about the whole musical thing. I don't think the musical thing would matter too much if it wasn't for the fact that with stage musical adaptations, it's usually just the story as it played out. Now, granted, Wicked has a little bit of advantage because it's taking Act 1 and almost doubling the length of it, so you have to kind of flesh some things out a little bit more. But, generally speaking, at least from people that I know that have seen the show, they said that the dialogue and all that and the story is still the same as it was, almost like beat for beat. It's just expanded a little bit more. Whereas a complete unknown, I'm assuming, there's songs, but it's still mostly written for this movie, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. If the entire Academy was voting, I would say, oh yeah, Wicked's going to get in. But because it's just the writers branch, that I think they will respond to Complete Unknown. I think it feels a little bit more heavy on dialogue than Wicked did. That is original, or
original. It's not just like copying. It's not just like copy and paste and stuff. And and Hitman. Some people we both have a number 5. Some people are saying this is going to win Writers Guild. I'm like, I don't see that ever happening. Winning.
Well, no, I don't even think Richard Linklater won for Boyhood, let alone Hitman. So I don't see that.
My thing is
maybe because it's such a fun movie. I don't know.
It's
I don't think
a comedy.
That movie's a big enough contender for it.
Because some people will use the comedy argument, but the problem is the comedy argument really. How do I explain? It's the comedy argument. I feel only really works if the film is in Best Picture. But the thing is, ever since they expanded Best Picture at the Oscars to past 5 nominees, the only year where non-Best Picture nominees at Writers Guild beat out Best Picture nominees at Writers Guild was 2018. 8th Grade won original, and Can You Ever Forgive Me won adapted, but that's never happened before or since. And sure, Borat subsequent movie film won adapted in 2020, but there were no Best Picture nominees nominated there, and it was in PGA, so you could see that maybe it was in the conversation. But I would never think Hitman could beat out at Writers Guild beating out these films, considering how low it is in Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't even think it got Golden Globes comedy, right?
No, it didn't.
So, if it got Golden Globes comedy, maybe.
That'd be the best argument, but I'm not even thinking Glenn Powell wins the Globe, because A Real Pain is kind of the closest thing to Best Picture, and Jesse Eisenberg could come along with that. So, some of the other picks we have in here, Nosferatu is in the bubble a little bit, but I don't think that's too much of a thing, or maybe, is it?
I just pretty much have it in because it's doing pretty damn well at box office right now. And that's just the only reason why I have it in, really. There's not a lot of contenders, like you said. A lot of films are ineligible, so it's just kind of that bottom 5. You're just what else do I have from the basket that I can throw in? But yeah, I just have it in because it's doing well box office wise. It's old, kind of what do you call that, period piece type of dialogue. Yeah. So I thought maybe they would respond to that. I don't know.
And also, it could get some nominations. I mean, I'm still holding back until I see what BAFTA does, because I'm worried Nosferatu could just be like a critics thing, but like it's still getting something, and that's why I would probably say it's a little bit above something like Piano Lesson or Night Bitch. Night Bitch, I'm a little bit surprised that's as high as it is, considering people don't really like it as much. But what are your thoughts?
Oh, I just have Night Bitch because she won Can You Ever Forgive Me? So I figured maybe they like her, you know? I don't know. But it's I don't think the audiences really love this movie from what I've seen. I really enjoyed Night Bitch. I thought it was really well written. But a lot of people are not really responding to this film. But I have it in there as maybe being, I don't want to say the word naiad, but maybe being
But I haven't seen Night Bitch, so I can't really give my thoughts on it. It's weird because I thought it was good. But I thought it was going to be a bigger hit with people and audiences than I thought it would be. Because you're raving it. Oscar Expert and Brother Bro are raving it. Even Matt Neglia was raving it. It's like, okay, so maybe like for younger people, it's going to do pretty well. And so far, no one cares. Now, granted, I don't know how wide they put Night Bitch in theaters, so maybe that's a factor. But it seems like, especially given that Amy Adams didn't even get Critics' Choice, it feels like they don't really care about this movie all that much. Maybe, but
yeah, Oscar Expert and Brother Bro's review of Night Bitch was like one of my favorite reviews I've ever seen of theirs, just because they enjoyed it so much. It was such a shock. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have it in because she did win this category. Did you say that she won the category against other films that were all in Best Picture?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, like she beat Black Klansman. Like she beat Black Klansman of all things. And that's kind of surprising. And I'm trying to think of what else was. Oh, also A Star Is Born, but that wasn't really winning anything except song. And but yeah. And some other ones I'm putting in the Fire Inside in case that does really well, because the reviews for this movie are through the roof. Everyone seems to love this film, and it's a very late breaker. So if they want to throw this in there, like it could be like one of those things where it's like if it had released a little bit earlier, then maybe it could have become something. And it is Barry Jenkins who wrote it, and he got in for Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk. Although he's not having the best year this year with Mufasa. I always wanted a brother, but yeah, Gladiator. Oh, and speaking of Mufasa, I haven't seen the film, but I've heard crazy things about this movie that made me go, "Excuse me," but like,
really?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, but. There's some things in there that made me go, like, oh, did they actually do this? But I'll probably explain that a little bit later if you want to hear it. But, yeah, Queer, maybe. Daniel Craig's doing very well, so maybe that happens, but at the same time, it's not really as well reviewed. Deadpool and Wolverine would be maybe, but it's not as acclaimed as the other two Deadpool movies. And yeah. Let's see, and then we get to SAG Ensemble. And
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I have for me to justify my Sing Best Picture win, like that kind of sneaking in coda thing, like I have to predict it for SAG Ensemble. If it misses here, goodbye. It's dead. I'm living on the third floor of my apartment, so it won't be too long. It won't be too long of a jump. But anyways, then we have Conclave and Wicked and. Let's just talk about some of your frontrunners. Like you're thinking Wicked wins this, correct?
You know what? Again, I put in order of nomination order. I'm so sorry this messed up your entire video. But yeah, like Sing Sing is a movie that is like an all or nothing type of thing. So like I kind of agree. Like if it gets into SAG Ensemble, I think it wins. I really do. But will it get in? That's the question. I don't think it's for sure getting in. So that's why I rank it in order of most likely to be nominated. And then when I get to the winners, then I rank it in winner form.
I do agree with that. If the biggest hurdle is the nomination. As long as it gets nominated, then it's a force to be reckoned with. So I do agree with that. But
absolutely.
Yeah, continue what you were saying.
Well, do you want a stat?
Okay. Here we go. Oh, this is our first Ryan stat. Here we go.
It's not a very strong stat by any means, but I just was curious about basically how many times does the Critics' Choice Ensemble match with SAG Ensemble? Since 2018, out of the last 30 SAG Ensemble nominations, Critics' Choice missed it 10 times. So it's usually hits around 4 out of the 6 of their nominees usually gets in there. That's the typical amount. But it's actually only about 66%. So you could put a few in there, but most likely it's not going to be it's not going to be 5 for 5 there. There are always going to be a surprise in SAG Ensemble. So I believe they went with Conclave. I think they have Wicked. I think they have Amelia Perez. And I think they have Sing Sing. And for that reason, I have to have a 5th one that's different. So, which is why I think I have A Complete Unknown, which I believe was not nominated for Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
And then what do you have though?
I have A Complete Unknown.
Sing Sing, Conclave, Wicked. Oh, okay. You have A Complete Unknown. You have September 5. That's shocking.
Okay, here's my reasoning for this. Because I have a similar. I have my own stat. Typically, you want to go 4 out of 5 with Best Picture if you're doing SAG Ensemble, and you have all Best Picture nominees in here. I'm assuming. So
I do. You're right.
And I want to play it safe with 4, which granted, this is still doing pretty, like, would this still correlate with your Critics' Choice SAG Ensemble?
I don't think so, only because you have SAG, you have Sings, but, they've gone 2 for 5 before. They've gone 3 for 5 before, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, but
yeah,
usually you want to be hitting around 4 out of the 6 of their nominees.
Man.
But I don't think 3 is bad, though.
All right.
I think Complete Unknown is sneaking up anyway, so I'm surprised. I think we both have A Complete Unknown. Yeah. I don't think that's in the top 5 on Gold Derby. If you check Gold Derby, I don't think that's in the top 5. So we're both taking a little bit of a chance there.
Yeah, because the thing is, they're like, well, for one, what's it? Timothy Chalamet. There's a chance he could win lead actor, and Edward Norton's been doing pretty well with the industry so far. And I still think there is maybe some wiggle room if they really love this movie for Monica Barbaro and or maybe more likely Elle Fanning, because I think Elle Fanning won National Board of Review for a supporting actress, and usually that's not a good indicator for who's winning, but for nominations it's not too bad. So I'm just like, I do want to look out for that. And like you said, Complete Unknown is doing very well at the box office. People are very much liking it. Because the a little thing about Complete Unknown, like the moment they said this was coming out this year, was immediately I put that in my Best Picture predictions, because I'm like, okay, there's no way they are releasing this movie this year and having this much, if they don't have this much confidence in it. So
I agree. It would have to be pretty bad for that movie not to make it into picture, being about Bob Dylan. Like it was gonna make it.
Yeah, and my thing with September 5. Oh, right now September 5 is that little gremlin in the corner just trying to like I'm gonna get into Best Picture because like it got in the Golden Globes over Sing Sing. That's scary. It got into original screenplay and editing and Critics' Choice. That's scary. I don't currently have September 5 in Best Picture, but if it wants to be scary, it can do that, and so. And it does have an ensemble. I think it's the one thing is...
It does align with kind of the spotlighty kind of movie. And that one.
Yeah, and it's just like... And it could potentially be something... And since I don't have it in Best Picture, it would end up being something like Color Purple or Babylon, where it's in that bubble, but depending on how well it does at SAG, the ensemble thing might be its only thing, and it kind of dies there. And obviously Conclave and Wicked are very, very solidly in, right?
I think so, for sure. I think Conclave, I mentioned Spotlight earlier, I think Conclave has kind of a similar feeling. Wicked, like I said, it's similar to Barbie being nominated. It's a massive hit, fun cast, arguably even more diverse than Barbie, so I feel pretty good about Wicked. Amelia Perez, the audience score isn't particularly high, but I can't really doubt it. The industry's just been responding positively thus far. I feel like when there's a snub in this category, it's usually films with a low audience score. So I remember Poor Things. I remember thinking that was a for sure thing, but it didn't get in. Power of the Dog was kind of a short thing that didn't get in. And those typically, I think those movies, if you look on Rotten Tomato, like the audience score, they're like in the 70s.
Ooh.
So I feel like a movie that sneaks in over them can be a movie that has a high audience score, or it's maybe like a recent release date, or has some connection to the industry, like Babylon or American Fiction was a really high scored movie. People really enjoyed that movie. So I remember that was, two surprises. And I feel like Sing Sing does have a very high audience score. Anora, that's why I have Anora out. Anora's audience score is not too bad, but there's something about Anora, there's something about Brutalist that doesn't feel like maybe it's going to appeal to this particular group of actors. I don't know.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Sorry.
I was going to say, and that's why I have Complete Unknown in, is because I feel like it was a late breaker. I feel like voters, got to watch it before the public potentially, so that was probably very exciting for SAG voters. And then it has a really high audience score. It's got a 96 on Rotten Tomato on audience score. And you have actors playing real life people. And, Bohemian Rhapsody got in this category. That surprised as well. So
Theory of Everything?
Yeah, that's why. I'm sorry?
Theory of Everything.
Oh, Theory of Everything? What?
The Stephen Hawking movie, Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, did it go in over that?
No. It got into SAG in its year.
Okay, I see.
Sorry. I was trying to put a side comparison. Like it's sort like Complete Unknown is like Theory of Everything and Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, real life people. Yeah. Sorry about all that. Sorry.
No, cool. That Saturday Night is one that I am like, I wanted to shove it in there, but like you said, it's just not been performing this year. So I don't know. It's on the cusp for me. I want to put it in so bad because I think it could happen.
Oh, if Saturday Night got in over September 5, well, one, I'd be very happy because Saturday Night's amazing. But also, I think that might kill September 5. Maybe. Maybe. Then again, you don't have it in the list at all, so maybe I'm just being too optimistic. But oh my, if Saturday Night would still not get into Best Picture, but that would be a good sign. But at the same time, it's also like, no one cares about this movie. Even though I think if it were to get in, if Saturday Night did get in, it would break the record for the most nominations for SAG Ensemble ever. Like the individual actors nominated. I think it would actually break that record. So
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. You also have challengers outside the bubble a bit, but The Apprentice. The Apprentice is in, or at least is somewhere in the bubble. What are your thoughts on?
It's somewhere there.
Yeah,
I think it's. I personally have. I have a feeling that maybe Jeremy Strong and I'm blanking on the other guy's name. Sebastian Stan can both get in. So if they both get in, and I could see maybe that gets swooped in with ensemble. I'm not sure. There's really only 3 major actors that people I think would really gravitate to. So maybe the cast is a little too small, but
yeah.
And
that's kind of my thing with like challengers as well. It's like the cast isn't really too big.
Yeah,
I would normally like the piano lesson is what I'm probably looking out for because they love August Wilson adaptations. Obviously, what was it? Viola Davis won for Fences and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but Viola Davis won for Fences, and which was predictable, and Chadwick Boseman won lead actor for Ma Rainey, which was predictable. But then you had the out of nowhere wins with Denzel Washington for lead actor for Fences and Viola Davis for lead actress for Ma Rainey, and it just seems like they really, really love the August Wilson adaptations. But the one problem is that people just don't care about the piano lesson as much. Like,
yeah.
Even Daniel Deadweiler has been kind of like, didn't even get, the Golden Globe nomination.
Yeah, and like you mentioned with those other August Wilson movies, it's like those movies were both those movies were totally in contention for Best Picture. They were on the table, and Piano Lesson feels so far off the table. It's on the floor in terms of Best Picture. I don't know why. I enjoyed Piano Lesson. I wouldn't be completely shocked if it got in here, but I would be a little surprised based on the fact that, like you said, no one seems to be really responding to Piano Lesson, at least not as much as Fences and not as much as Ma Rainey.
Yeah. I would agree. Dune Part 2 would be a great, nomination, but I don't think that's happening. I don't know how, yeah. And so that's kind of, and there's a substance, but again, not as many actors. So, yeah. This is where we get into some real chaos. Lead actress at SAG. Because honestly, who knows what's going on here? We have different winners, I think, but let's talk about you with Mikey Madison, and I'm assuming it's probably because she's sweeping right now with the critics.
Oh yeah, I feel pretty good about Mikey Madison probably winning almost the entire season, maybe.
My thing with Demi. Let me make the case for Demi Moore.
Okay.
Because even before I saw Nora, something about this win feels fishy, in a way. Because she's not a lot of people know who she is. I mean, she was she did have a small role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Scream, but those aren't really big movies. And for her to win an Oscar for this, her first big role, it's whereas Demi Moore kind of has a little bit more going on. For one, her performance is absolutely nuts and crazy. And she does have the makeup stat to potentially go along with her. She is a Hollywood veteran that would be considered overdue. And I feel and she has been winning some critics groups. I mean, obviously she's not winning as much as Mikey Madison, but lately I've noticed that she's winning a little bit more as the season goes on with the critics. And it's if the industry really wanted to award someone, especially again, given that, because I thought that career narrative thing was probably going to be Amy Adams for Night Bitch, but again, no one cares about that movie. So and especially without the Critics' Choice nomination, that's just not happening. And with Demi Moore and The Substance, because I was if The Substance gets into Best Picture, maybe she could win this. But what's your take on the possibility of Demi Moore winning this?
I think you're right on. If I had to choose an alternative for who would win the Oscar, if it's not Mikey Madison, I would say Demi Moore is next in line. The only thing is really just not knowing how The Substance is going to be responded at the Academy. I'm very weary about whether even this SAG committee is going to go for The Substance even. But yeah, I agree. She has a career narrative. I know that we kind of cling on to the Oscars having this kind of fascination with giving Oscars to young actresses like Emma Stone or when she won for La La Land, and Jennifer Lawrence and Brie Larson. But like you mentioned, those were all kind of movies in which you might have made this point on an earlier video that I may have seen that I thought was a great point. But basically that they had another movie before that movie, like you said. It wasn't their first movie ever kind of thing, they were to winning.
Oh, sorry.
No, it wasn't their big breakout role, their first one. It was they did Short Term 12, and then they did Room. You know what I'm saying? Emma Stone had a little bit of, a lot of movies under her belt, and then she did La La Land. So you might be right that it might be a little too soon. So it's not a for sure thing, but she's doing well critically, and I do feel like Demi Moore can kind of not benefit from it feeling almost like a split kind of lead role with. I blank on names so much.
Margaret Qualley.
Margaret Qualley, thank you. Yeah, there's a split. There's a split with lead and supporting there. So I'm sorry. They've kind of share lead roles.
Yeah.
There, so yeah, that's my only thing.
Yeah. And plus, also with Emma Stone, she was a previous nominee as well with Birdman, and so with Cynthia Erivo is interesting because I don't think she's going to get nominated for the Oscar, but I do think again SAG's going to really like Wicked, and there is also a chance that she could get nominated for the BAFTA because she is British, but I don't something about the performance I'm just again, not only just with the performance, but also with how Wicked's doing overall, I could definitely see it missing in some categories at the Oscars, and people go, they snubbed Cynthia Erivo? What the fuck? What? And so...
She's so in for SAG, though. She's so in for SAG, but like you said, I totally agree. It's not the performance. The performance is excellent, actually, but there's something about the genre of film, I've been saying that I feel like that type of performance you can stick in supporting and no one cares, but in that lead categories, I really feel like they like to go for like really, gravitas type of acting. And there's something about that role. There's something about that type of performance. She's all in green makeup. I'm weary about it as well. I'm weary about it, and for the Oscars.
Yeah, and she's also she's not even really giving a lot of, like, big emotional crying scenes. Like, she's not exploding with emotion in the film. It's mostly just kind of, like, with the eyes and, like, and all that. And so it's I'm also kind of thinking maybe Kate Winslet is going to be our, oh God, here I go. I think Kate Winslet's going to be Naiad, with Lee. Cause like, she does have she does have the glow behind her. And also her campaign is kind of insane. Like getting like Dwayne Johnson behind her. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio is also with her. And it's like, the fact that she already has Golden Globe, it's like she's already bigger than Andrea Riseborough. And this is a biopic performance, and she's a Hollywood veteran. That's kind of like why I'm thinking she's in there. What's your take potentially?
Well, I have her a little bit higher than I think Gold Derby. I don't have her in, but I agree that she's playing a real life person. She's very popular. I think she's been nominated for SAG 8 times prior over her career. So yeah, she's a very beloved person amongst this group. So yeah, I could see, it wouldn't surprise me, I'll just say that much. And like you said, she does have that Golden Globe nomination back in her. I haven't seen the movie. It's hard to say. I know that the audience score is really high for it. It's got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes for audience score. So yeah, that's what I think.
Oh, that helps my case. Because I'm predicting her for the Oscar. I'm like, if this movie is like really liked by audiences, she is definitely watch out. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah. I have Regina King in at number 5 because I think she's just gonna be. She could be like like Adam Sandler in Hustle, just that rant, or Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. Just that one nomination that doesn't happen.
No one saw it. Yeah. No one saw this coming.
Yeah, and obviously it wouldn't repeat at the Oscars, because one thing I've noticed, getting lone Critics' Choice recently is way better than getting lone SAG, because at least you had some early buzz or something like that. And then again, I don't really know what the reasoning is, but every year in the 2020s, another little stat, ooh. But yeah, we had lone Critics' Choice nominees like America Ferrera. We had what's his name, Judd Hirsch. We had J.K. Simmons, and wait, did we have a lone Critics' Choice nominee in 2020? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Maybe that failed.
Sure either.
Maybe that failed me. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm thinking even if she doesn't happen anywhere else, Regina King, big biopic performance. I'm assuming it's a very big, kind of loud performance because the biopics, and very charismatic. So I'm assuming that. And
well, your audience should know that you're at least taking a major swing with that, because that's not like a top, that is an outside the box choice. You know that, right? Obviously, you know that. But I think your audience should know that you're taking a big swing with that one.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think Regina King's getting nominated for the Oscars at all. I'm just saying for lone SAG, this does make a little bit of sense to me. But who knows? We both have Carla Sofia Gascon out, and that's interesting.
I was hoping that you'd be able to talk me into putting her in. That's my Alexa. It's probably telling me about an Amber Alert of a missing child.
Oh, right, no.
Oh, now it's talking to me.
Oh.
Sorry, okay.
Okay,
so Carla Sofia Gascon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we both have her out. And it's not something that I like doing, because honestly, she'd probably be my pick to win this year, even over Demi Moore. But man, I don't I'm scared. I'm scared about what could maybe happen.
Yes. So I in my 5th spot, I originally had her in, but the problem is that would match up pretty much exactly with Critics' Choice. And that doesn't happen. It just really doesn't really happen that often. So I was just thinking about who's vulnerable here, and something about, I think she's fantastic in the movie. There's something about maybe her not being a really well-known name. Also, just they start stacking on top of each other. So her not being like a really recognizable big star. I know this branch tends to kind of gravitate towards celebrities. And then on top of that, it's an international movie. I think I was looking through and I only saw, I think, Marion Cotillard. And I think that was the most recent nominee in an international, in a foreign language. So I don't know. Yeah, something about it just made me feel like she could be the one who gets snubbed here.
Yeah, and there's other narratives as well that I don't like. I don't like thinking of people being this mean, and it's just like, yeah, like I don't know how, like, it's just, I'm scared about where the direction things are going. And I'm just worried that people might carry that sentiment, and I'm a little bit scared about that happening. Even though again, she'd be my pick to win because she's unbelievable in the film. But yeah, there's some other pop, but specifically Night Bitch, Amy Adams. Like, what? Wait, did you give your thoughts on that or no?
I didn't. I just know that Amy Adams, they love her. They've been nominated her many times, even for Hillbilly Ugby or LG.
LG. Oh my God.
She got in for that one. So if she can get in for Hillbilly LG, why not Night Bitch? And she has the Golden Globe nomination, so she does have something to kind of push her in.
That does. Yeah, they do really like Amy. I'm trying to think. Did she? Wait, no. I was about to say I was about to ask if she got in for Enchanted, but no. I think she got Golden Globe and Critics' Choice for that. So I don't think she got in.
I don't think she got in for Enchanted.
Yeah, no. But
she should have though.
She was really. That's like one of those classic like Ryan Gosling and Barbie performances. Where, like, this is just too fun. And also, what the fuck is his name? The Prince. James Marsden. That one part, that one part in the trailers always had me laughing, where he's like, "I've been dreaming," and then he gets hit by a bike. Like, that's just so fun. That always gets me laughing. But Amy Adams could definitely show up here, and Zendaya is also in the bubble because Challengers is definitely a popular film. They really like that. Oh, I just realized I don't have Angelina Jolie in. This is intentional. I don't think she's getting in at... I think she will get in at the Oscars, because Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, I think, is a good enough combo for this. But my worry for Angelina Jolie and Maria is that they didn't nominate Kristen Stewart for Spencer. And this movie is not even as liked as that film, even though it could potentially get more nominations at the Oscars. See, that is kind of interesting, because it's like it could potentially get more nominations than Spencer, yet it's not as critically liked as Spencer. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Angelina Jolie?
I know that Natalie Portman was snubbed. I'm sorry, not Natalie Portman. Kristen Stewart was snubbed, but Natalie Portman did get in for Jackie. So, and I know that I think Jackie has a 60% audience score. Maria has a 67, so it's not great. Not a great audience score, but I do think Angelina Jolie is just such a big star. She has been getting in everywhere. I wouldn't be shocked, completely floored if she missed, but I think she has enough pedigree and name to kind of just get in there. And she's playing a real-life person, which helps. So,
you do have a point, because she is way more established than someone like Kristen Stewart. Like, because they could probably say, Twilight, ew. Whereas, like, Angelina Jolie, it's like everyone kind of respects her. It's like, oh, wait, she's like the queen around here. Like, oh my God. That does make,
And that's why also I feel a little worried about Marianne Jean-Baptiste. I would love to see her get in here. Like, nothing would make me happier, but I just have no faith that the SAG will sit down with it and really give that little movie a chance. I hope they do. I really want them to enjoy it, but something about that movie doesn't feel like it's going to be a SAG movie for me. Just the type of movie. I think SAG voters do vote, with their hearts. They don't always vote for a movie they feel like is probably the best acted. I think they do have to also enjoy the movie.
Yeah, they like their little clap their hands movies.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if that movie is going to probably connect with them. I hope it gets nominated. That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh wait, I just realized I had a little typo. I put Saoirse Ronan in for Baby Girl, even though that's the Outrun. Well, I screwed up somehow with this. Dang it. But yeah, yeah. This overall makes somewhat sense to me. Fernando Torres, I think, could maybe get in for the Oscar, but not SAG. They would not like the movie for SAG.
I agree.
Lead actor. This shocked me. Rafe. Oh, then again, you're probably ranking in terms of like who could get nominated, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I was about to say, if Ray Fiennes winning, Jesus, holy my God.
No. Adrian Brody I have for the win. But in terms of nominations, I do think Conclave is like just going to rack up nominations. So I have Ralph Fiennes in the first spot. But yeah, I don't think he's going to win SAG.
Yeah. I have Timmy Boy. I have good old Timmy Boy winning because I do feel like Complete Unknown's going to be that strong film that comes up, and he does seem like someone who could win SAG because like he is playing Bob Dylan. He's a previous nominee, so he has something going for him, and so I could probably see that. I have Coleman Domingo at number 2 because if they want to throw that sing party, like, oh boy, let's get the party favors up, then, oh wow, okay, if I would, here's, what would you think of this scenario? If Sing Sing won ensemble, Macklin won supporting actor, and Coleman Domingo won lead actor here, how important would that be to Sing Sing? Like, would you say, oh, it's winning Best Picture now?
Yeah. I would say it's winning Best Picture. If it won all 3 of those, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know the acting branch is just a small part of it, but I would have to go through all my Oscar predictions and seeing how much Sing Sing I can shove into all these categories. But
yeah,
that would be really strong.
Yeah, because the movie does have the heart. Whereas with The Brutalist, even though like I don't know, again I haven't seen The Brutalist. I'm not one of the cool kids yet, but I do think Adrian, something about, I don't know, something about Adrian Brody or The Brutalist overall kind of feels like that Power of the Dog thing where, I don't know, does the movie leave you feeling cold or just like emotionless or something coming out of it?
As soon as I saw it, I said, what a fantastic movie. I was a big fan of Power of the Dog, and I felt like this is going to be just like it. Again, I was like, it's already destined to be a number 2 movie and be like The Bridesmaids, Never the Bride. It's going to be the Power of the Dog. It's going to be the Roma. It's going to be the big Marvel achievement. It's going to probably be the best movie of the year in reality, but it's likely not going to win. I just always knew that. I knew it was never going to be a populist movie, but it was going to be a movie that people respect.
Yeah,
and that's what I always felt like. So I do feel like Adrian Brody has a strong chance to win, but it will be just kind of like that, Daniel Day-Lewis, There'll Be Blood type of win, where it's just like the performance is undeniable type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my brain farts a little bit sometimes. We have the same like 4 in general, even though it's switched around a bit. But we have a different 5, which I have Daniel Craig and you have Sebastian Stan. Go you explain, Sebastian.
You explain that.
Sorry.
Explain that move.
It's
a tough one. No, you're good. Daniel Craig, gosh, he could just get in on name recognition alone, just like, oh, we love Daniel Craig, he's James Bond. That's possible. I just don't think they're going to like the movie. Like, as simple as that. I don't think SAG's going to like this movie. I think I went to a screening of Apprentice. It was a very packed screening. There was a lot of energy in the film when I saw it. And he's playing a real life person. So I think that kind of helps in a recognizable person.
Yeah.
So
very recognizable.
And it has a pretty decent audience score too. So I kind of felt like, well, maybe he could sneak in here. Yeah, I don't know. And also he got the Globes nomination, so yeah, why not?
The reason why I'm kind of going with the consensus 5 is because I want to go 5. This is the one I think where it's 2020, like in the 2020s decade. There's always been one SAG category that goes 5 out of 5 of the Oscars, and so far amongst the critics groups, this is the consensus 5. Like everyone's been kind of going for this 5, so I'm kind of banking on this because it's like I want to go 5 out of 5 somewhere, and. Even with Sebastian Stan, he's kind of trailing behind a lot behind Daniel Craig, and I think even Hugh Grant has more nominations. I think, but he does. But Sebastian Stan does have the SAG nomination. And if he got in here, then oh my god, I would probably start maybe thinking he could get nominated for the Oscar, because the Golden Globes and SAG are kind of very different in terms of taste, I feel. And so if it actually managed to happen both there, I'm like, okay, maybe Sebastian Stan does happen, which would also help because with the makeup, shortlist mention, that could help him there. So, and I would love that. I mean, I really think The Apprentice has been, again, sort of like Saturday Night, has been kind of dicked around this entire season and screwed over. I mean, especially with the actors on actors thing. Like, I was like, you shameful bastards. How could you? But yeah, Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice, I would love it if this happened. I would love it. Honestly, maybe even I haven't seen The Brutalist, but this would almost be ideal for me if Sebastian Stan got in. So I would like that. Well, Hugh Grant and Heretic. Sorry, you go ahead.
I still feel like if Sebastian Stan didn't get in here, I still feel like Daniel Craig will still continue to take the 5th spot at the Oscars for some reason. I just feel like maybe it's just going to be a weird SAG thing. That's just what I'm thinking right now. My wild guess. It's the best I can do.
Oh, that's fine. Because at least he would be doing better than some of the other contenders. Because at least it's not lone SAG. It's not lone SAG. If it was lone SAG, oh yeah, he'd be dead. But he does have the Globe. Hugh Grant in Heretic is one that's been lately popping up. I don't think Hugh Grant's going to be a real thing that really is happening. But unless he maybe won the Globe. If he won the Globe, I'd be like, Jesus, whoa. But I'm not sure. Where are you on Hugh Grant?
I'm very similar. I think it's a very, 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 very fun performance. I think Hugh Grant is beloved as a person and as a personality, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough to crack top 5. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And plus, at that point, he would have Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, and SAG, and it's like, I just don't think he's going to be... I don't think he's going to get that close. There's also Kingsley Ben-Adir for Bob Marley, One Love. If they want to do a crazy lone SAG nomination, that could happen here, but again, would go nowhere. Jesse Eisenberg, if he won the Globe, maybe. Everyone else is just kind of like... I know some people were trying to say to me that Hitman, like Glenn Powell, he could get nominated for the Oscar. I was watching the movie, this is not an Oscar nomination kind of performance. It's just it's not even because I thought even from a comedic standpoint, and it's not a bad performance, but it's just kind of even from a comedic standpoint, I thought it was going to be more like Master of Disguise, but good. But it wasn't even kind of that. They didn't even do as much of that. So it's I don't see that. And John David Washington.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
And John David Washington would be kind of if they really love the piano lesson and they want to put that thing in SAG Ensemble, then yeah, for supporting actress, this is the next category. I have Zoe Saldana winning. You have Ariana Grande winning. Although, how close is this race?
I think it's really close. I think this is the most exciting race of the acting races. I think it's very close. I do think Zoe Saldana is going to win Globes. I think it's going to bounce back and forth for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the Oscar, to be honest. I bounce between Saldana and Grande all the time for the Oscar. For SAG, I feel a little bit more confident. If Grande loses SAG, I don't think Grande is winning Oscar.
Yeah, it's kind of... And I think that would also really show that if Ariana Grande lost at SAG, it would be rest in peace for Wicked being any kind of threat to Best Picture. I already don't think it's gonna.
I think so.
I don't really think it's gonna be a threat to Best Picture because of the lack of directing or screenplay support. But this would absolutely be rest in peace. You're Barbie again. Probably worse than Barbie. I mean, not in terms of quality, but in terms of the Oscar wins. But yeah, and I would say it's also very close because at least with last year, Oppenheimer was winning Best Picture. It was winning Best Picture. Whereas here, I mean, I'd say maybe Emilia Perez is closer because it does have the more above the line potential, but it's still nothing really is kind of a sure thing. And so with Robert Downey Jr., okay, he's trailing Oppenheimer, but here it's even if none of these two are probably winning Best Picture, so it kind of is kind of a half and half race right now. I do think they'll maybe go with Saldana, even at SAG, because this isn't fair to Grande, but it's like I'm worried. They could probably say, "Oh, well, she's a Nickelodeon girl, like she was on Sam and Cat," and we go with Zoe Saldana, who's been a little bit more, well, not a little bit, a lot more experienced with stuff like Avatar and Marvel and the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, she's done more than that, but she kind of does have a little bit more of a narrative behind her. Plus, I'd still say Amelia Perez is slightly stronger in picture.
Yeah, I've heard that people are basically saying that Saldana's it would be more of a career appreciation kind of award that's not just for the performance of Amelia Perez, but also just for her entire career as of in comparison to Grande, like you mentioned, who's kind of not new to acting, but like you said, hasn't been in a lot of films before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see what you're saying. I feel like if Grande wins here, I would say it's going to win the Oscar, because there is precedent for that kind of musical performance, the Jennifer Hudson, the Catherine Zeta-Jones,
Anne Hathaway,
and it feels like, and people love this character. And I've always said too that a lot of voters, they don't really vote for performance, they vote for characters. And if you watch Amelia Perez, I'll give you $5 if you can tell me that character's name. Get Out of Wicked.
Damn it.
You're gonna know that name. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie.
Galinda.
Even I don't remember Zoe Saldana's character. I think the only character's name I know is Amelia Perez, and she's literally the title of the movie. So
yes.
And so that you do have a point there. It is also a very goofy performance to win, to win an Oscar as well. Like even Ryan Gosling didn't win this. Although maybe it's not as externally goofy, because Ryan Gosling, and I mean this in a positive way, he was a cartoon. Like he bumping into a wave and just kind of flying through the air. It's just like he's a cartoon character, whereas she's like, it's still a very goofy performance, but again, it's kind of like more reserved, like when she's like looking at the thing and like pushes Cynthia Erivo away. So that I guess it really would depend on like who at SAG especially, it would depend on like who's stronger, like Amelia Perez or Wicked. So yeah, what is it?
It depends on how they're voting. Like if Oscar voters or even SAG voters are gonna look at kind of everyone has their own criteria of what they look at, but are they going to look at acting? Are they going to look at singing? Because if you compare the singing of them two, in my opinion, I think Grande takes the cake for the singing, But if you look at performance, maybe acting, maybe Saldana maybe wins that, because people are going to see it as more kind of, more, I don't know, like more challenging as an act. I don't know. I really don't know. Like you said,
it's also
Ariana Grande is very fun.
It's also a very physical performance, like with the El Mal song and how like she's doing all this crazy shit. It's like it is a very physical performance as well. But yeah, I think that's probably all we have to say about these two. Maybe, unless you have something to add.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, let's go on.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. I didn't think she was going to be as big of a staple as she is. Because, like, I thought,
shocking.
not that it's not a deserving performance, but it's also like, she has very little screen time in the film. But the fact that she got in at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, and I do feel like those two bodies have pretty different tastes, and they both still went for Isabella Rossellini. It's like, oh, she's so in at this point. She's so in. She's going to get in probably everywhere.
Yeah. Prior to that, if you had asked me where is Rossellini going to pop up, if any, I would probably say SAG. So the fact that she has been getting in everywhere, it just made me go, okay, she's getting in SAG then.
I thought maybe she'd be like a shoo-in for BAFTA, but again, like this soon, like she's just kind of cementing herself. Wow. I do really see the whole Daniel Deadweiler slot, and I'm kind of wondering if I'm doubting her too much, because if I take her out of SAG, then that means I'm thinking she is like lone Critics' Choice, which could, potentially maybe put her in for a nomination. But I don't know if she's that strong, because the Piano Lesson just seems like a movie. It's just kind of like I don't know. But where are you on Daniel Deadweiler and the Piano Lesson, like for supporting actress?
I don't know. I felt like SAG could get behind Deadweiler. It's a tough one. Maybe I have her a little too high. She should be more at number 4. But yeah, there's just kind of that August Wilson. They have done pretty well with August Wilson movies before. Like you mentioned before, they gave Denzel Washington the win over Casey Affleck, right, for Manchester by the Sea, and he was kind of almost looking like a sweeper of the season, and they just went ahead, and I think they gave Viola Davis for Ma Rainey.
Yeah,
when no one was really doing it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Like it's again, this is a movie based off theater. So the fact that if SAG doesn't go for her here, Deadweiler she's done. She's done. She's got to get in here to continue on. So I'm thinking they're going to respond to the material just because it's based on a play. And like you said, it's August Wilson. So I'm hoping that she gets in. And she's great in the movie.
Yeah, oh, she is. Like, she might be my pick to win. Although, again, I haven't seen The Brutalist or Nickel Boys or Complete Unknown yet. So right now, she might be my pick to win. And we both have Margaret Qualley in The Substance. And for some reason, like, I don't have her in the Oscar top 5 right now, which doesn't make sense because I have her at Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, and SAG. So it's like, why would I do that? But I do feel like The Substance is going to do well at the Oscars, but not too well. Like, I don't know. Especially if I want to get in, because my Oscars 5 is Saldana, Grande, Rossellini, Felicity Jones, and Angelou Ellis Taylor, because I don't feel like Felicity Jones is going to miss the Oscar. So I have to take out someone, which would be Margaret Qualley. But at the same time, I don't know if the SAG is going to respond very well to Nickel Boys or The Brutalist. So it's kind of like I put in Margaret Qualley at SAG, but even I don't know. What do you think? Does it make sense to have Margaret Qualley in Globes, Critics' Choice, and SAG, and yet still have her miss the Oscar? Like, how often does that happen?
I don't think that happens very often at all. There might be a few occasions of that, but that seems pretty rare. I wish I had the stat on me right now. But Margaret Qualley doesn't feel right to me. I have her in, but I'm kind of just doing it hesitantly just because she has been showing up everywhere. But for something about it doesn't feel right for me. Like, I'm just weary about the substance. Substance for me is a big question mark. I know that she's been nominated before. That's why I ultimately kept her in, because she's been nominated for a TV show, Made, which I haven't seen. I had Selena Gomez. I was flirting with Selena Gomez for the longest time. I had her in 5 forever. And then I just kind of reassessed it, and I just wondered whether maybe, I don't know, it felt very Jennifer Lopez for me, Hustlers. So I never thought about it beyond that. I was like, okay, it's getting in. It's going to be the Hustlers nominee of this year. But yeah, I realized that they never nominated her, I don't think, individually for Only Murders in the Building. So I just thought maybe if they don't nominate her for that, maybe they won't go for her here. I don't know. It's tricky.
It is tough because there is also a chance Amelia Perez could be like Power of the Dog, where it didn't like 3 of the main actors get in, and yet it still missed ensemble. Like, did that happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Amelia.
Yes, you're right.
So Amelia Perez could be that, like where Saldana and Gomez get in, but maybe no, that's a bad comparison. What am I doing? I have no idea what my point.
Well, maybe you're thinking about Felicity Jones, like The Brutalist.
Oh yeah, like
that
Brutalist
type of movie this year.
Yeah, no, that's probably what I was thinking. Yeah, thank you. Because The
Brutalist could be in all 3 of those and not make ensemble. I can easily see that.
Yeah, it's just the Critics' Choice miss that I find baffling. It's like, they didn't... And also just the lack of guild support overall. Like, no costume guild, no editors guild. It's like, what's happening with this movie?
Yeah.
Not even sound... Granted, I haven't seen the film, because I don't know how sound-ish it is compared to Power of the Dog. Because that definitely was a random sound nomination. But, the lack of major support for The Brutalist is making me go... Or at least around the guilds makes me go... how strong is this? And
yeah, I just feel like I don't really know if The Brutalist is going to be just a movie that it's just a movie that it's the definition of a movie that voters are going to respect, but they're not going to vote for. Like, I don't know how to say it. Maybe their brain wants to vote for it, but their heart is going to vote elsewhere. I just can already see that,
Yeah, that does make sense. Although, if there is another random nomination that could happen in the 5th slot, I don't know why I don't have her higher. Actually, yeah. Why don't I have Monica Barbaro or Elle Fanning higher up? That's kind of dumb of me because like Natasha Lyonne is.
Oh my gosh.
Like Natasha Lyonne is certainly. Well, then again, she could maybe also be lone SAG and doesn't happen anywhere else. But I don't know. Something about Monica Barbaro and Elle Fanning. One of those two that makes sense. That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. SAG's gonna love this movie. They're gonna love it. I think she could be. I wouldn't be surprised at all. She's that's why I have her right outside. I almost had her in, but I thought maybe since I have Ensemble, I have that movie in Ensemble. Maybe that covers her a bit. But yeah, I really think that could happen. She's playing a real life person. I think I feel more confident about Barbaro over Fanning just because there's another element that she has to sing in the film. And I think she's a more recognizable, probably real life person that I think voters will like. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Barbaro gets in there.
Yeah, if she gets in, I'm going to kick myself for not like putting her in higher up. Like I have her at number 10. And I'm assuming your reasoning with Ingenue Ellis is the same as mine. Is like it's probably not like the film's not going to be that strong with SAG. They're probably not going to like it that much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly the same reason. Even if she doesn't get in here, I wouldn't say that like she's off the table for Oscars. Yeah. If she gets in here, like put her in your Oscar lineup. The fact that she got in here is a miracle, and put her in your lineup is what I'd say. But yeah, I think the movie is just going to be way too small for this membership, and I don't know if they're gonna love Nickel Boys.
Yeah, I'm right now. Ingenue Ellis is my lone Critics' Choice nomination going into the Oscars because I don't think I'm gonna have her in at BAFTA. So it's like I think that she's kind of my path because I feel like Nickel Boys is gonna look like it might underperform a little bit. I mean, we'll have to see how everything goes, but I do feel like if you're putting Nickel Boys in Best Picture, like Ingenue Ellis Taylor has got to go in with the line. Like she's part of that package. And then you have Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux. We all know that film is definitely getting nominated for Best Picture. So, also fun fact: with the Razzie shortlist, they are shortlisting her for Worst Actress. I'm just like,
wow,
that's okay. They're hating this movie. Like my God, like I knew like even that's like really Worst Actress. Like she wasn't even that bad in the film. Like what? It's weird.
I got the SAG booklet that they send to all the members, and I was looking through, and big paid ad for Lady Gaga for SAG, and I was surprised that they're still even putting money in that movie.
Oh, that man, they'll put money into Joker and not putting anything in for Juror number 2. That's just how life sucks. Life sucks this way. This is another one where we very much differ because you don't even have Clarence Macklin nominated.
No.
Oh, no. Right down at number 8. Damn.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming you think like because your thing is like Clarence like Sing because you said it's at the cusp of Best Picture and you don't really think it's like yeah.
Well, if you have faith that Sing Sing's gonna come back for Best Picture or be an actual contender or possibly even win Best Picture, then you gotta have Clarence Macklin in. He would be, I guess, your Troy Koster of Coda. It's one of those things. Like again, I just feel like Sing Sing is holding on for dear life. It feels a little bit like Paul Raci when he was snubbed for Sound of Metal. There's something about maybe the kind of the fact that he's just not a known name, and yes, we love the movie, but maybe that's just kind of the ensemble and not particularly like maybe we overestimated Macklin a bit, and I think the celebrity power might just overpower Macklin in the end. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because like everything else, like wait, who do you wait? Oh, okay, you have Guy Pearson. I don't. That's again.
Okay.
He very could happen very well, but I think my reasoning for not putting Guy Pearson is because if I took out Jeremy Strong or like I would go 5 out of 5 with my Oscar predictions, and I can't do that. I only want to do that with one category, and it's the one I feel like is most likely to go 5 out of 5 at the Oscars. So it's like, but Jeremy Strong, we do both have Jeremy Strong in. Because, like, obviously we know why Denzel's getting in. We know why Edward Norton's getting in. And Kieran Culkin. But, so, there's not too much to talk about there with them. But, Your thoughts on Jeremy Strong appearing at SAG, as well as, Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I have them both in. It's really just comes down to, for Jeremy Strong, it's a little different. I feel like the success of Succession is just kind of give him a little bit of an edge over lesser known actors, maybe like Yura or Macklin. So yeah, and he's got that Golden Globe nomination, which helps a little bit. He's playing a real life person. Yeah, I don't know. Something about it just felt like I could see that.
If both Stan and Strong got nominated at SAG, would you predict one of them for the Oscar nomination? Because with that kind of a SAG,
that's a great question. That's a great question. Let's see. That's a great question. I would have to see how Sing Sing does overall. I don't know why that's connected to me. Hold on. So if Macklin gets in for supporting actor, I would prioritize Macklin over Strong for the Oscar. I'm gonna make sure I believe that. Yes, I believe that. Yeah.
Or what? No, I mean, like, no. What I mean by that is, like, if both Stan and Strong got in, would you predict one of them for the Oscar? Like, because if
I don't think I would.
Really,
I don't think I would. Is that crazy?
It's not too.
I don't think I would.
It depends on who got snubbed, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, it would kind of. It kind of depends on who got snubbed. Like if like, for example, Daniel Craig got snubbed, maybe that would make it a little easier. But if Daniel Craig didn't get snubbed, then, I would still put Daniel Craig in there. It's kind of a matter of, I guess I would have to take a look at what BAFTA and analyze BAFTA and see what happened there.
Because my thing is, right now I'm predicting that Guy Pearce gets out of SAG, but for supporting actor. I don't think Jeremy Strong would be nominated for the Oscar, but I think it would still show some strength for Sebastian Stan, considering, it did this well at SAG, so one of them might get nominated for the Oscar, and this one is a little bit, because at least with, with Daniel Craig, you could maybe swap him out. And again, it does have the makeup stat to go along with it, so, yeah, that would make sense.
There's something about The Apprentice being a little bit more of an actory movie instead of like kind of an Academy at whole entire movie. I don't know. There's something about Apprentice that feels a little bit more SAG friendly than it does Academy friendly for me.
I could see that. Again, if The Apprentice performed this strong at SAG without stepping on Sing Sing's shoes, then I would be very, very happy, because I've been rooting for The Apprentice this whole year. And we both have Yura Borisov. Like, do you think he's getting nominated for the Oscar, considering we're both snubbing him at SAG?
I do. I feel confident that Macklin and Yura, I feel like they both can't get in at the Oscars. Something about it feels like they can't give two spots to names that are, not recognizable amongst your everyday voter. So something about that feels like it's got to be Macklin or it's got to be Borisov. Since I have Anora kind of winning Best Picture, and I have Macklin and I have Sing Sing kind of falling off towards the end of Best Picture, it makes sense for me to kind of have more faith that Yura will make it in the end. So yeah, I do still have Yura in my top 5 at the Oscars, just because of the Anora strength I think Anora might have on Oscar morning.
All right, yeah, and I'm wondering, if Sing Sing, for the nominations, did get in for supporting actor, lead actor, and SAG, and this is before the Oscar nominations, how seriously would you take that?
I'd take it very seriously.
Really?
I would take it very seriously. I would, if it gets in all 3 of them, Sing Sing would easily be in the Best Picture. I wouldn't put it in director, but I would basically... Well, yeah. I would put in Macklin. It depends. If Macklin gets BAFTA, I'm putting him in. I don't know if I would feel strong enough to put in Macklin at that point. It really depends on who misses. So if Macklin gets in over Yura at SAG, then maybe I'd put him in my supporting actor lineup as well.
And would it affect how strong Sing Sing is for Best Picture overall?
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. I think so.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
Because at that point, if they love Sing Sing that much, then it's the groundswell could be happening, and
absolutely.
some other outside possibilities. Stanley Tucci has just weirdly not been a thing at all. Isabella Rossellini, who had significantly less screen time than him, like can't even like Stanley can't even get into lineups of 6, which is surprising.
I would be. I mean, if he's gonna hit somewhere, I think maybe it's here. I think SAG voters love Stanley Tucci. I assume. He could just come in on Conclave's coattails. I could see that happening. Yeah, I don't know. I think what's interesting about Sing Sing is that I think Sing Sing was always kind of supposed to be a actor play. Like, this was where it was supposed to kind of come in. So, I mean, I think we might be we might be kind of overdoing it with Globes snubbing it, you know? Because Globes is Globes, and they're, you know, a foreign press, but the play for Sing Sing was always to do well at SAG. And maybe we don't know. Like, Sing Sing could be playing really well with SAG voters. It's so relatable to acting that I could see Sing Sing still, like, this would be where it lived.
Yeah.
And this is where it was always supposed to survive and do well at. And we always said that Sing Sing's going to win Best Picture based off of that win at SAG Ensemble. So I don't think Sing Sing's dead. It's just we're not really seeing much signs of strong, extraordinary life yet. But we really haven't gotten into industry guilds really yet, you know?
Yeah. The one thing that's keeping me believing in Sing Sing, like I said before, is the shortlists. Getting in song and score over potentially stronger contenders. That's what made me what made me go, oh, But yeah. Some other.
I don't think song's a big deal, but score is a big deal for me.
The reason why I do have score, like, song as a big deal, because it got in over the Pamela Anderson song, and now the Forbidden Road song is not eligible. So it's like, you could, and you know, in recent years, you know, they have snuck in Best Picture nominated songs in there, like with Zage from Killers of the Flower Moon and This Is a Lie from Everything Ever All at Once. This is where it could show some strength, but yeah. You know, we have Jonathan Bailey for Wicked. He felt like something that could maybe happen with the Astras, but apparently it was clear the Astros just wanted to make it, like, it was very clear they wanted to try to make Coda happen again. So even more so than with Barbie last year, because didn't it just kind of feel like with Barbie winning so much at Astras and then not really doing as well at Critics' Choice, it kind of felt like that they were trying to make Coda happen again because they made Coda happen, in a sense.
I suppose. I'm trying to remember what you're talking about. Astra did what with Coda? I can't remember. I don't really follow Astra too much.
Oh, before it was back then it was the HCA, but they loved Coda so much they gave it Best Picture, and like it was kind of like, oh wow, they're making it happen. But now it's like, you know, especially with Wicked and like how much the fact they gave Wicked Best Picture, Director, Lead Actress, and Supporting Actress is like, okay, clearly this is just not happening. Like you guys know this is not going to happen at the Oscars or even at Critics' Choice. Yeah. So it's like,
I think there's just a lot of excitement at Wicked. Like a month ago, I always felt like Wicked is one of those movies like Barbie that just has so much excitement, but then it just, as the season progresses, people start getting a little bit more serious, I guess, about the movie that's going to win at the end.
Yeah. And it's not me dissing the film because I really loved Wicked, so I wouldn't mind if it happened, but I just don't think so. Mark Edelstein, the one thing I was shocked over, not one critics group has nominated this guy. Not one. And
that's wild. Yeah.
And yet they were saying, "Oh, well, he could get nominated." It's like, not like forever, especially with how well Honor's been doing. Like, it's been winning Best Picture almost everywhere, winning original screenplay, Mikey Madison, all that cool stuff. And yet Mark Edelstein is just nowhere to be found. It's like, again, unless I would say if Mark Edelstein got in that SAG, I would be very worried for Sing Sing because I'm like, no, this Honor is happening. This is my enemy. This is the new, like, it's Naiad again. It's Naiad. It's fucking Naiad. But yeah. And then, you know, some others like Chris Hemsworth. That would be fun if Chris Hemsworth got in, like, for.
I would love that.
Yeah. And I have the September 5 boys down below because again, September 5 is just trying to crawl up there like, we're gonna get you in Best Picture. And so it's like, oh, and then we get
would be interesting. What do you think about Dennis Quaid? Do you think that can pop in there?
Oh, Dennis Quaid. I would not be that excited, but although it would mean very good things for the substance, I guess. Man, if Dennis Quaid got in, I'd be like, oh, God, okay, well, I wouldn't think he's getting it at the Oscars, but I think it would pretty much squash anybody's fears over the substance, just because it's unfortunate that it missed sound, but it's like it's gonna be fine. I think it would definitely take any worries out. Stunt ensemble, we have different positions, but we have the same top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, you have Dune winning over Furiosa, or just Dune winning overall.
Yes, I think I believe in that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What do you have? Do you have Fall Guy? I can see Fall Guy.
Oh no, I have Furiosa winning.
Well, Furiosa, for some reason, people don't care about that movie. It's insane. I'm saddened that people didn't love this movie. It didn't make a lot of money at the box office. Now it's not. Now we're just going to get a lot of Marvel movies, and I hope you guys enjoy that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Technically, only people are not responding.
Technically, well, this year we only have one, but with Furiosa, it's like I feel like even if missing sound, visual effects, and makeup is upsetting with the shortlist, but I have there is some precedent for something like this happening where it doesn't seem to be happening anywhere else, but it happens there. Like for example, Wonder Woman both Wonder Woman movies won stunt ensemble at SAG without any Oscar nominations, and they were kind of dead in the water. More so with Wonder Woman. But Furiosa, I would if this gets nominated, I would be shocked if they were just to see what was going on screen and didn't go, I mean, the stunts, that gotta give some credit there. But you do have a point there with the fact that no one cares about it, but it would just seem so weird for me if they just didn't care at all for the stunts in this film.
Yeah, I'm trying to basically put myself in the mind of an average SAG voter. I know quite a few, and I think they are not always going to be looking at stunt and going, who has the best stunts? They're going to be like, what film do I even like here? Yeah. I can see Fall Guy only because it's so predominantly the stunts are so front and center for that movie, and it's a pivotal part of even the plot. And I do think it's a movie that people found fun. But again, I'm just kind of going with Dune 2 because I think it's going to be the most widely seen and enjoyed from the bunch.
Yeah, the one thing that kind of keeps me away from predicting Dune is that No Time to Die beat it, the first film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, because and honestly, that was a pretty based pick because the vehicle stunts in the movie had me going what in the world? Whoa! But it's you do have a point with Fall Guy. The whole marketing is about stunts, and this is the first film I think where they actually have the credit stunt designer. They made that the whole thing in the movie. So you do have a point there, and honestly, I would look out for that. I would look out for that. The one thing maybe keeping me from doing is that it was a bit of a box office disaster, and so
yes,
and even with critics, it hasn't been getting a lot of nominations. Whereas Furiosa, it did badly in the shortlist, but then I don't know. Honestly, who knows what could happen? Because there is also Gladiator 2, and it's gonna get a few Oscar nominations, and there's some swords, and it's not real rhinos, but there's rhino stunts, but so that might happen. And then you have Deadpool and Wolverine. That could also be Wonder Woman. Where it is just kind of the big blockbuster that everyone that everyone likes, and it's just oh yeah, okay, yeah, but that hasn't the Deadpool movies haven't really won. But were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say, are you concerned about Wicked? I'm concerned about Wicked getting in here.
Yeah, that might, because sometimes because the thing is, with the SAG Stunt Ensemble Award, the one thing I've always said that I do keep in mind is that it's not because I've always had this phrase: all stunt performers are actors, but not all actors are stunt performers. So it's like the vast majority of these people probably don't even know one thing about stunts. Like, if it was just the stunt performers, well then, yeah, I don't think Wicked would have much of a chance at all. But the fact that it is the entire, SAG body, it's like, that does complicate, because, like, they'll nominate The Irishman for, like, old guys, like, holding a gun and shooting people, and just like, and just looking all stiff while doing so. So it's like, I don't think, like, it doesn't make sense, but it also makes sense for SAG. Civil War has been kind of
interesting.
Yeah, Civil War.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, although there's not a whole lot of big stunt stuff in that film, but again, if it's overall strong in the industry, then maybe some other shots. There's Monkey Man. That would make sense for stunts, but it probably doesn't make SAG sense for stunts. But and there's Planet of the Apes, Alien. And I have Joker. And if Joker got in, I'd be like, oh, okay, hello. But yeah, because the first film got in, even though I think the biggest stunt was probably like, the guy getting hit by a car. But this one, it's like, I think there's like a bomb, but I don't know. I guess you got.
I remember last year with Barbie, that got on here, right? That feels very wickedy.
Yeah, at the very least, I could maybe see with Barbie, because like there is the Ken fight, and it is goofy, but they still have to like flip each other around and do some some stuff. Wicked just doesn't really have that, because like Cynthia Erivo's not really flying on a broomstick. There's no magic, so there's that.
I have seen some clips where she's yanked around in a big blue screen.
Yeah, there is
area. I don't know.
I'm not sure how much they think about that. I mean, the choreography looks really intensive, but I don't think that would count as stunts. So it's kind of strange. And then we get to the final category. If this the final category, PGA picture. This is where some things are a little bit different between you and I. Like we don't have the same top 5. Because you have Sing Sing all the way down at number 10, and you replaced that with Dune, but I have Dune down at number 8, which obviously it's still solidly in, but yeah, I think this is something that we kind of both made points over today, is that if Sing Sing gets nominated in some of these, then it definitely could be win competitive, because this is the place where the preferential ballot is important, because everywhere else it's winner take all. PGA, it is the same way they vote for the Oscars. How important would it be like if like Sing Sing got in here at the PGA?
Yeah. How big would that be for Oscars?
Yeah, if Sing Sing got in at PGA, how strong do you think it could be to potentially win?
I think it's one of those things where Sing Sing really needs to show up here, because if it does, then that means that it does have industry support, and then it is, because Sing Sing has the special sauce in the movie that is the type of film that wins people's hearts. It's just a matter of whether it could get that. Because I remember when Coda was coming out, during nomination period, Coda had like really soft nomination total. And I remember that they were talking to the Coda director, and the Coda director was basically going to the parties after being nominated and talking to voters and saying, "Oh, I finally saw Coda. What a great movie." And the passion didn't happen until after nominations. So that is just kind of how sometimes it happens. But if Sing Sing gets in, then it's going to be watched. And then we always have the assumption that maybe the voters have, we're always under the assumption that voters are like rejected Sing Sing, but the chances are they didn't see the film, you know what I mean, to begin with. But once it gets nominated, they get the screeners, and then they go through the pile, then they look through, and then they start falling in love and evaluating movies after nominations come out. So basically it's my roundabout way of saying, if Sing Sing gets in here, yeah, it can definitely win Best Picture, because Sing Sing was always going to be that movie that's like the Cinderella story that just wins, the little engine that could. And it's been flying under the radar. Earlier in the season, it was the top movie to win, but now it's gone back into that position as the little engine that could, which is exactly where Sing Sing wants to be to win Best Picture. It needs to be seen as the little engine that could in order to win. So yeah, I think it's a big deal. If Sing Sing gets in here, it could still be a Best Picture winner, I think.
Yeah. Because at this point, it's avoiding any kind of frontrunner fatigue. There's no way it has frontrunner fatigue at this point.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like a good. I mean, the fact that I didn't even get nominated Globes, it's like, oh well, they just don't even know what that is. And the thing is, considering it is such an agreeable, likable film, it would do well on a preferential ballot. Like it would, even if it doesn't get the most number ones, it would still rank up very high in their ballots. Because I just find it to be very because I've been looking everywhere with the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, the Letterboxd score, the Metacritic score, the IMDb score. People, audiences love those who have, when they see it, because that's the one problem this movie has, is that A24 has just not seen this movie. No, not seen. They've just barely released this movie. Like, they had it for 1 week in some theaters, and then just, oh, nope, no more. And so it's like, my whole thing is maybe, and this is kind of like my tinfoil hat theory, and it's that maybe they did this on purpose so that it could avoid all of the backlash, the frontrunner backlash, because those who have seen it, it's like, oh man, when this movie gets released somewhere, you gotta see it because it's awesome, it's so heartfelt, and that's kind of I am taking a swing here, but I am banking on the idea that this could be that likable film that does that performs well, but You have a Nora and Wicked and the Brutalist, and not even. I'm a little bit surprised over Emilia Perez isn't even in the top 5, despite being at this point sort of the de facto TIFF winner now that Life of Chuck is gone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I on my list right here, I have it on number 5. I have Emilia Perez, and then I have Dune at number 7. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Oh wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. I need to look at this because I think I might have goofed it because I did update these today. But I goofed.
I see.
Unless I have some sort of.
It might have been me.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, Emilia Perez would definitely be the crowd pleaser that audiences really seem to like. Yeah, I'm assuming.
The one thing that Sing Sing, the one huge big obstacle, is exactly what you said. Is PGA? I think they prioritize box office success usually, and which is why we saw, we might see something like, Nightmare Alley or Babylon or Color Purple at Critics' Choice, but PGA would go something like Black Panther 2, or they'll go like Bohemian Rhapsody. They like movies that make money, and that, I think that's the biggest obstacle Sing Sing faces, is it's very well liked audience score. So once people see it, they do love it, but the movie I think it would be probably one of the lowest earning, if not the lowest earning movie to ever be nominated in this category ever.
Wait, did I say Sing Sing? Did I say Sing Sing right before you talked?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about Emilia Perez?
Yeah, I think I might have meant to say if Emilia Perez, how strong of a contender that could be at PGA.
Oh, to win?
Yeah, hypothetically, because I do like looking at the different scenarios.
Oh, Emilia Perez could win. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it just a matter. I think Emilia Perez looks pretty damn good right now for Golden Globes. I think that's a real possibility. It wins at Comedy Golden Globe, and that can start kind of picking up steam. So yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, would it be crazy if Emilia Perez wins Comedy Golden Globes, wins PGA, wins everything, like SAG Ensemble? That would be wild, and it's not completely ridiculous that could happen. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
And I will say one thing I'm doing, and it is scary, because I don't think we've ever had anything like this before. That I'm going 10 out of 10 with Critics' Choice, and this is my 10 out of 10 for the Oscars. I'm scared because that is not normal. That doesn't happen. So I don't know what to do here. I mean, because obviously, Critics' Choice and PGA did go sort of 9 out of 9 matched with the Oscars there, but that was before 10 nominees. But what are your thoughts on potentially this happening? The whole idea of of going, because you have challengers in here. over Nickel Boys
Yes.
and A Real Pain.
Yes.
Yeah, show me, like, tell me more about that.
I really just wanted to prioritize films that were successful at the box office. You know, there's precedent before where movies will get snubbed here and they go for the movie that made a lot of money. Like, so they'll have like a movie like The Whale get in, and you're going, well, The Whale, that's a pretty small movie, and that got in over, I think that got in over what, like Babylon, that got in over Women Talking, because those movies were kind of seen as not really box office successful. And The Whale, you know, it made $57 million on $3 million budget. So I'm kind of just thinking along the lines of that. Like, Challengers was a pretty damn good box office success. I think it was likely on the cusp of getting a Critics' Choice nomination there at Best Film. It didn't make it in the end. And like you said, there's always a difference between what PGA goes for versus what Critics' Choice. And I'm thinking maybe they're going to go for a movie that actually made money, as opposed to something maybe like Nickel Boys or Sing Sing that really are seen as kind of a box office flop in a sense. I know Nickel Boys is kind of still being pushed out there, but I think Nickel Boys didn't even make $1 million and on a $20 million budget. So I don't know if producers will respect that, you know?
Yeah, I do agree with that. It is, again, I know I'm playing a dangerous game here, and because it's like Challengers might happen. Because honestly, like, between A Real Pain, Nickel Boys, September 5, oh god, I forgot to mention September 5. That's another one where I'm like, oh, if it got in here, that's scary. Because oh my god. Because, like,
that'd be a big deal, because I don't even think it's really had its box office run yet. So the fact that it gets in here would be really, like, I'm putting that in there. I'm putting in Best Picture if it gets in PGA, I think.
Oh, even if it missed SAG Ensemble. Oh, yeah. God, it is a scary thing to think about. And honestly, I don't know why I have Conclave why do I have Conclave so down there? I guess it's probably because I think maybe Brutalist is more likely to get nominated for Best Picture, but Conclave would be more likely to win. I honestly, I don't know why. I don't know what my rationale is, but yeah, we do obviously have Complete Unknown in there. It's like, at this point, it's just kind of become a staple. The Substance,
yeah.
Very, like, I mean, good God. I mean, hell, even in terms of box office, The Substance, it has done exceedingly well. Like,
yeah.
Which is astonishing for a studio like Mubi, which is, yeah. Which one, like, out of any of the films that you have on the outside shot of Best Picture, of PGA Best Picture, which one are you like sort of like how I have with like September 5 or some of the other, like, or anything like that? Like, which one are you like, if this got in, or like, out of your ones, which one are you looking out for the most?
That's a good question. So, out of the outside. So, yeah, I mean, if September 5th got in, that would show huge strength for September 5th. I think Wild Robot, for some reason, there's something in me that's going like, could Wild Robot sneak in here? Because it was such a massive hit, big box office smash. Same with even Inside Out 2. Like, that, I think that crossed $1 billion at the box office recently. So, like, I don't think that would change my opinion about whether Wild Robot or whether Inside 2 would get into picture. It wouldn't change it at all, really. But I do think there's a chance we can see one of these kind of animated movies sneak in there. But they haven't done it since Toy Story 3, so that's the reason why I don't have it in. But yeah, I mean, there would be a lot of movies that get in here that wouldn't really mean much to me. Like, if Gladiator 2 got in here, like, it's not going into my picture. Yeah. It's not gonna really matter. A Real Pain. But that would change the game a bit, because that wasn't really necessarily seen as like a big box office smash either, but it did make money technically. I think it made like around $9 million on a $3 million budget. It would be probably one of the lowest earning indies to get into this category. So if A Real Pain snuck in here, I think that would mean something to me, and I would have to really seriously consider that for picture.
Yeah.
For nomination, at least, not win.
Yeah. That would be interesting, too. Again, it's just all about who gets taken out. Because, like, I do agree. Like, in terms of who could get nominated, Sing Sing is on the cusp of getting snubbed. And I'm scared. So I guess, like, if I were to predict who'd get nominated, then I would have Sing Sing way lower. Because it's like, all it needs is the nomination. the nomination is harder to get than the win. But God, and again, I recognize this is like going 10 for 10 is not safe. It's not safe, and I don't think we're gonna get like other than Amelia Perez. I don't think we're gonna get any other like international contenders like I Imagine As Light or See a Sacred Fig, like because like Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall were unnaturally strong, like insanely strong. Maybe Civil War, because that was also a big box office hit that people generally agreed on, and Nosferatu, again, kind of in there and whatnot, but probably not happening. But yeah.
Last year was really interesting. I mean, both of those movies making it in PGA. I remember that was like such an incredible. Like that PGA went for two international picks when they hardly do it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think it just showed a lot of strength. They ended up being really popular movies at BAFTA and Oscars. So it could have just been a real popular movie amongst the guild.
Yeah, that's that's especially now with the current Globes nominations. That's kind of like why I think maybe the whole like with Zone and Anatomy last year getting into Globes, like because people were like, oh, Globes is influencing everyone else, and it's like I don't think it's really, or PGA is changing. It's like I don't think it is. I think those two were just the big outliers. But yeah. Again, I
think that's what it ended up being.
Yeah, this season is absolutely chaotic still. I'm like, I think the one Best Picture thing I'm really looking out for, if it shows some strength later on, is September 5, if that's a thing. Again, but overall, we still have a general sense of where things might be going in terms of nominations. Like, who knows what happens, especially with BAFTA and the other guilds. But I gotta say, I think that will about do it for this video. These predictions.
We made it.
Oh my God, yeah. I hope it's been 2 hours. I hope this has not been too long for you, because I feel kind of bad for this.
No, I love this. I just hope it's not too long of a video. I don't know if you'll cut it, but whatever.
Oh no, the long videos, like, I don't know. Should I split it? Maybe. I'll have to think about that, because you gotta get that YouTube AdSense somehow. but yeah, man. I really enjoy talking to you. You're again watching your. I said this when I was watching your board video and predicting who was going to get nominated for Best Picture, which I'm excited. I think is going to be happening this year. You said, right?
Yeah. It's so tight. Like I have a lot going on in terms of DGA, PGA, BAFTA. Like they're literally right before Oscar nominations. So I will be doing it, but people are going to be getting it like a day before Oscar nominations come out. The final results, at least.
Yeah, I can, and because that video I especially kind of go back to because it's kind of insane the level of production value on that. It's so crazy to where. Like I was like convinced like at first like there's like I don't know, a team of people did this because it looks like a Wired thing that they would do, but like no, one guy made all this, like all that editing
in my living room.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like look at me, I'm not even doing that much editing. I'm like I had all this done beforehand. Like that's how lazy I am. I mean, good God, you're working.
No, but I could never do following every single award. Like you go look at visual effects. That's why. I feel like there's a comedian's comedian. There's the comedian that people like, and then there's also the comedians that the comedians like. I feel like you're the comedians of the Oscar world because we're all like, there's no content out there for visual effects and all these other things. So we're all going to Hannahcast to learn about visual effects and all these different guilds that we want more content from. So yeah, I could never pump out the amount of videos that you do. That's a marathon.
Hey, thank you so much. That really means a lot coming from you. Again, you're really cool, really nice guy. I'm going to do an outro, and then we'll say our goodbyes here in a bit. But yeah, guys, that will do it for my guild's predictions, like the Producers Guild, Directors Guild, Writers Guild, SAG, all that fun stuff. And now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts or predictions for these guilds upcoming? Like, do you think this is where Sing Sing lives or dies? Is September 5 going to be a big threat? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, Ryan Castleman will hack your computer.